where brevity is paramount.
Hello and welcome to episode 8 of Chet and John's Reassuringly Finite Gaming Playlist. My name is Chet Roivers, with me is John Denton.
Hello.
If you've not listened before, basically this podcast involves John and I compiling 2 top 10 lists of the games we've been playing over the past week, and then we take turns to work our way from 10 to 1. Number 10 is the game we've been playing the least, number 1 is the game we've been playing the most, and we're going to try and rattle through them all in less than 40 minutes, hopefully. We haven't done it yet, but maybe this week. So let's go. John, number 10.
Let's do it. Number 10. Right, my number 10 is based on your recommendation last week, Zombie Highway on the iPhone.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't like it at all, to be honest. I thought it was empty. I mean, most of those games are pretty empty anyway, but emptier than most. And you just spend... I mean, if you haven't played it, you're a car driving down a highway, zombies jump onto the car, you can steer it using the gyroscope to knock the zombies off on parked cars, or tap the screen to shoot them off. But I was just like hammering the screen and twisting the thing, and I was just like, no, I'm not into it.
But what I found so fun about it is that you try and get as far as you can before shooting, so every time you see a car and they start to pull you off target as well, so you start to swerve all over the place. I thought it was fun. I just tried to do it without shooting them at all until it gets really drastic.
I thought it was alright. It felt like an iPhone game from about 2 years ago to me.
I didn't have an iPhone back then, so I can't comment on that. I mean, I just thought it was fun. It captivated me for about half an hour, which is more than most of those games did.
Well, you should play some better games.
All right, well, give me some recommendations that aren't Hero Academy.
Have you heard the last 7 episodes of this podcast?
I've played it, yeah. All right, fuck it, forget it. Good point. Anyway, yeah, you're not going to go back to that one in a hurry.
Well, no, I mean, I'm not going to rant about it. It's just a little game, but
yeah. Right.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you're not going to play it again.
I wouldn't have thought so, no.
Okay, fair play. All right, my number 10 is Crimson Alliance on the Xbox 360. I was completely unaware of it. I read somewhere, or someone told me, that it was free, and when they said that, I assumed that it was like an offer that was going to expire. So I went and I downloaded it, and the payment model is... I didn't realise to my knowledge, they haven't done anything like it on Xbox Live. It's you buy the game's free, but in order to get achievements and stuff and leaderboards and to have a proper upgradable character, you have to pay for the character.
What is it?
It's an arcadey Diablo dungeon crawl. It's fun.
Oh, one of those jobs.
Yeah, I mean it's generic, but it looks nice and it's fun. I'm going to show it to a couple of mates, and if they like it, we'll probably rattle through it on like sort of co-op. It looks like fun.
It's full-player co-op, is it?
Yeah. So
I think I've heard of it actually.
Yeah. But I haven't bought I haven't downloaded an XBLA game that was free. Oh, apart from that pinball game. But yeah,
it's got one of those names, isn't it? That just blends into the background.
Yeah, Crimson Alliance. I mean, it came out at the end of the summer of Xbox Live last year, and I had no knowledge of it. But yeah,
so
I'm gonna
just hack in, loot, all that sort of stuff.
You know what to expect. But if a couple of my mates like the look of it, we'll probably go through it. It's fun enough.
Yeah, sounds alright.
Yeah.
Crimson Alliance. I've already forgotten the name.
Yeah, me too.
My number 9 is DJ Hero 2.
Oh, blimey.
I've been meaning to pick it up for ages and ages. My little boy likes smashing the turntable, which always reminds me that I should play it because I never actually finished it. And then when they announced Rock Band Blitz this morning of recording, which is Wednesday, I was like, oh yeah, that's a bit like DJ Hero 2. So I'm just going to stick it on, play a few tunes, and man, it's such a well-made game.
Yeah.
It kind of feels like you're in the middle of a party, and you can break it down and really sort of examine how clever the mechanics are and how well it works back and the feedback to the turntable device. But what I've always loved about music games is the idea of kind of being inside the music and just... It's a new way of listening and interacting with music, and DJ Hero 2 does it just as well, if not better, than any of the great ones, any of the Guitar Heroes or Frequency. So, and it's just got me more pumped for Rock Band Blitz, which, if you haven't seen the announcement, is basically Frequency 3.
Oh,
for
God.
Summer.
That tells me that they were listening, because I signed up to Harmonix's forums a few months ago just to say, for Christ's sake, make a new...
So you claiming it?
Yeah, they listening to me. Well, no, I was one of many people doing exactly the same thing, but it's nice that they've listened to fans, and God almighty, I can't wait to play that.
They did that one on the PSP, didn't they? Rock Band on the PSP. I never played it. It was like that as well.
The one on I think the one on the iPhone's really, really good as well, the Rock Band on the iPad.
Is it?
I might be wrong, but I seem to remember it being pretty good. But DJ Hero 2, I kind of wish I had a bit of a skipped out when I just had to I had so many plastic peripherals in my flat, I just fucking got rid of them. And I wish I didn't ditch that, because man, that is a classic.
Yeah, and obviously it's not going to. No more are going to be made. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's nice to have it hanging around.
No doubt, yeah, that's a banging game, that. Okay, my number 9 is Hero Academy on the iPhone.
Are you still sticking with it?
I'm going to stick with it. Yeah, it's fine. I still don't understand the love. I'm not getting the... Friends of mine who I'm playing it with are getting the same buzz that we used to get when we started a game of Advance Wars. You know, you see what you've got, you see what funds you've got, you see what your options are. I feel really sort of just held back by the fact that you can only make 5 moves. I know that's part of the game, but... something about it just leaves me ice cold. I mean, I'm still going to keep playing it. Friends of mine are loving it, regularly playing it, but I can't see the enthusiasm.
Have you won a game yet?
I don't think I've actually got to the end of a game.
So that's when it really, really captured me, when I won my first game.
Okay.
And I felt like a badass strategist, elf strategist.
Yeah, I mean, it might blow me away, but it hasn't yet. But I'm going to stick with it. Yeah.
It's one of those games you only have to play it once a week. You know, just pick it up every now and again. That's the beauty of stuff like that.
Yeah, true that.
Cool, right. My number 8 is also on the iPhone. It's a bit more Angry Birds Space.
Oh, fair play.
Just thought I'd keep playing a little bit more because I was quite enamoured with it last week. More impressed at the effort that's gone into it. The fact that they didn't go down the route of just making a shoddy map pack, essentially. You know, they really did put in the work to make a proper sequel with new gameplay. I still find it really clever. Like I said, it's still impressive that they'd gone to that much work when they really didn't need to. And just like Angry Birds, it's still fucking frustrating as hell. And the trial and error gameplay is ultimately a little unsatisfying. You never really feel like... Once you get to the sort of slightly harder levels, I don't think you ever really feel like you're getting better. You just, I happened to luck out this time and send it in the right direction. And hit the things, and it worked out right. So while that's a fun distraction, it's never really going to be something that completely captivates me. But I'm impressed with what they've done. I think they've done a good job, and the fact they're still selling it for 69p is admirable.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, that's a game that I've got no interest in, but I'll play it at some point on someone else's phone, I should imagine.
Someone's going to have it, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly.
Show it to you. Yeah. I wonder how it's done. I don't know if it's...
Yeah, normally they're like bandying figures around by now.
Yeah, I'm sure it's done very, very well, especially at that price.
Yeah, no doubt. Okay, my number 8, SSX. Unfortunately, I haven't had time to go online with it this week, and that bothers me. But I turned it on for just a few minutes the other day to have a go at the Deadly Descents, and I ended up staying on it for far longer than originally planned. It's I really like the Deadly Descents. I know some people thought it was they were just an abomination, but I've got a real soft spot for that kind of soft. That kind of stop-start, like instant restart, Trolls HD style, you know, kind of gameplay, and that SSX, the Deadly Descents, they're fun. They're really hard, and they can be infuriating, but it's quite rewarding when you nail it.
I thought they're a mixed bag. I thought some of them were really good. I love the wingsuit, for example.
Yeah, the one where the gravity and you start to go into tunnel vision. That's not so great, but
yeah, the one where you have to do the pulse. Have you done that one where it sends a pulse down? You can't see where you're going. I thought that was a bit of a ball ache.
No, I quite like that.
You like that one, did you?
Yeah, I mean, I just like everything about the game, to be honest.
I think the people who've been really down on SSX, the small section of people, have paid far too much attention to those, and in actual fact, they're nowhere near as much a part of the game as they seem, or as they.
There's like 9 of them or something, isn't there?
Yeah. And while they're the focus of the World Tour mode, the focus of the game isn't actually the World Tour mode once you start playing it properly. As you said before, it's all about the online.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think I can see... I would never call them an abomination. I just think they're kind of gimmicky and a bit fun. But they're not the real meat of the game.
No, that's true. But I do like them. I like that style of gameplay. You don't really get to do that so much these days. And until the new Trials comes out,
Which I thought was today, tragically.
Yeah, no, I'd have remembered if it was today for sure.
Yeah, you're always good at remembering things. Right, number 7, draw something. I'm starting to hate it.
Haven't you run out of words yet?
I bought it. I paid the quid or whatever it is to get 2,000 new words. It's not, it's not that much, is it? It's not that I could ditch it quite happily now, but people keep reminding you. They keep buzzing you. So I think I got a text, and it's someone going, "Please play with me. It's your turn." And I'm playing with like my girlfriend's dad and people like that. And you can't just sack them off. You have to keep playing, and it's just becoming a pain in the ass. I still enjoy watching people try and guess my stupid drawings, but I can't be asked to draw anything anymore, especially on the phone. Well done for doing something so addictive for such a short space of time, OMG Pop, but I think you knew as well that it was only going to last for a little while.
Yeah.
Not you, them.
Yeah. It's died for me. I've got loads of pending games that everyone's playing.
Did you really get rid of that girl then from last week who you were only beacon of light?
She's got... no, I've left her hanging. She's drawn something I haven't checked.
Oh my God, what a choice of words.
What?
Left her hanging. Man.
Yeah, that's
that poor sad girl.
Yeah.
Let's hope she's still with us.
Yeah, please God. But yeah, no, she's hanging there now, waiting for a reply. I don't even want to see what she's done, but yeah, it's dead to me now. It was a novelty, and I really bet that company who paid like $200 million for them.
$10 million for it.
Yeah, I mean I bet they'll regret that unless they make a banging game next. But will they? Who knows?
Don't know. Draw something too. I had an idea for what they could do in it, and I've forgotten it. So I don't even know if I said that. Brilliant.
Cool. Okay, my number 7, Tiger Woods PGA Tour 13.
Hey, it's my number 7. Oh no, it's my number 6, but same difference.
Yeah, I mean, I like these games anyway, and I think this is a really good one. Did you try it with Kinect?
I haven't yet because boring story. My Xbox is in a room which is basically the size of a ruler, so I can't do that at the moment. Okay.
Yeah, it's really. I mean, it's unquestionably a novelty. But having said that, I had a couple of mates round the other week, in the past week, and they all play golf. And we played it for about 2.5 hours, and I was convinced. I mean, as nice as it is to swing the golf club with the Kinect, and it's nice, but it felt like Wii Sports Tennis or something. That has no bearing. Everything you do beforehand, setting up the shot, has bearing on it. But the longer we played it, the more they started saying that they could really feel some sort of connection between how hard they were hitting it and how much power they're putting into their shots translated onto the screen. I don't
That's
know.
Good.
Well, I don't know whether it's true because I didn't find that, but the longer we played it, the more and more convinced they were just like, yeah, it's brilliant. I think they might. One of them, I think, is going to pick up an Xbox on the back of it. To be honest.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and it's good. And I like the. Did you? It's a bit controversial, although I don't understand why. I really like the currency system.
To be honest, I just had a quick pickup game just to play it, just a normal, just jump straight in. Golf, just because I find it so relaxing.
Yeah, it's a good, perfect Sunday afternoon gameage.
So what's this currency system?
Well, basically, you earn currency as you play, but with that currency, you can basically buy a round on a piece of DLC. You can get a once round on a course. The option's there to buy the points and buy it outright, but in a surprisingly short amount of time, once you've mastered the course, you can have it outright anyway. So it's like if you're prepared to put in the hours, you can get the DLC for free. I mean, obviously people will cut corners and just pay for it, but
yeah.
I thought it would involve a right grind, and if you wanted to unlock course mastery and then get the course, you'd have to really, really work hard at it. But you don't. It's quite a chivalrous little system, and I'm surprised that EA have done it because it's really, really generous.
Oh, that's cool. People like to get angry about anything to do with DLC, don't they?
Yeah, that's true.
And then they buy it anyway.
Yeah, there you go. And the although controlling the options screen with your hand is not great because there's so many options, and they haven't altered the menu system to be. To work with Kinect very well, yeah. But selecting an option, you have to slap the air, and that's really satisfying, and that always worked.
Like Dance Central.
Yes, yeah, that's it.
I do like that.
Yeah.
That was my number 6, so we've kind of gone over it.
Okay, all right, genuine. My number 6, Ridge Racer Unbounded on the Xbox.
I'm intrigued by this game.
It is the most bizarre game I've played in a long time. I mean, you've seen all the sort of discussion about how it just doesn't explain itself.
Yes.
I don't understand how they've let the game go to market like that. It doesn't make any sense. I mean,
should we explain to people listening if they haven't picked up on that?
Yeah, basically, well, first of all, there's no tutorial, and I can't even describe how it works. The drift button isn't really a drift button, and it only works if you very specifically use your brake and acceleration to counter it, and it's. Even now that I feel like I'm on the road to mastering it, I can't explain how you control it, and the game doesn't either. So for the first hour, you are just like, this is an absolute bunch of shit. I'm not going to play it. I almost gave up. I think the Eurogamer review was really good because it was just like I had to start my review again because at first you're just like, this is just bust. It doesn't even work. It's shit. And it's not. It's really good. I mean, the world.
You get your head around it.
Yeah, once you understand it. But I mean, the thing is, the second event in the game is a drift event, and if they'd have put that first, you'd have learned. I think you'd have learned the systems a lot quicker. The first one's like a race, which is I must have done 7 times before I completed. The world is a mash of Paradise City and whatever the fuck that world was called in Split Second. It's generic to the hilt.
Is it open world or is it tracks?
No, it's tracks. There is a level. You can build your own levels though, which is really cool. I've played a couple of other people's online. It's very simple, very easy to grasp. That side of it's fun. I mean, the intro cinematic is just like the biggest load of shithouse ever. They've ripped off the beginning of Mirror's Edge.
Oh, right.
The beginning intro of Mirror's Edge. So, as opposed to having a proper story, they just put this cinematic about these outlaws. We are the Unbounded. There's an oppressive regime. I mean, it's just pure,
God, I hate stuff like that.
Pure shit. This...
Does they have an announcer like the old Ridge Racer games?
No, it's not a Ridge Racer game at all. It's not that they're piggybacking off a franchise to try and sell a few more copies. But no, it's not. There's nothing Ridge Racer about it at all. But
you're going to stick with it.
Yeah, against all odds, it's really starting to grip me now. It's fun. It is fun once you've.
Because it got a 9 in Edge, didn't it?
Yeah, I can understand why, because when you execute a corner perfectly, it is just like energizing. You're just like, fuck, this is good. Despite, I mean, it's a game that begs to be hated. You have to. It's like it's daring you to like it against all odds, and you do have to put the work in. But if you do, it's good. I am going to play it some more and get some more time with it for sure.
I can see it being very traded in though, if it's that difficult to get your head around it.
Yes, if you pick that up and just started without knowing about those issues, a lot of people are going to do that, unfortunately.
So you can't play it like Need for Speed or
it doesn't control like any racing game I've ever known, and it's hard to explain because you just have to do this. You just end up sort of, it's like what do they call it? Something memory. Muscle memory, where I just started doing it, and I was like, "What am I doing?" I'm sort of letting go of the. You just learn to do it, but once you've got it down, it is extremely fun. But yeah,
I am intrigued by it. I do want to play it and see if I can wrap my head around it.
Yeah, you'll be able to. It's just going to take a bit of work.
I guess from going in with that knowledge, it's going to be very different to assuming that it's a Burnout game or a Need for Speed game.
Although you'd think to look at it, it looks like Burnout and Split Second. As everyone said, it's a mess of the two together. But it's good.
Cool. All right, my number 5 is Mass Effect 3. I'm basically eagerly awaiting the DLC now. I've kind of done a bit of podding around after I finished the game and wanted to make sure that I knew exactly what was going on for the Joypod spoiler cast that I did last week, which everybody should listen to. It was good fun to do that, and thank you very much for being invited. I still think that it's a magnificent piece of work, and I've really thought about it. It's rare to think about a game beyond its mechanics once you finished it. I can't really think of many. Ico, Shadow of the Colossus, Journey recently, maybe a few others over the years that I've actually thought about kind of thematically beyond how the cover system works or how you shoot monsters in the face. But Mass Effect 3 has had me thinking, and I've got opinions on the ending which I'm pretty sure everybody who's mad at it is just wrong. Not that they're wrong to be mad or wrong to not like it, but they're wrong about what they're angry about. Now, I'm not going to spoil it any more than that, but it seems so obvious that the ending is one thing and that everybody has just decided or is incapable of realising that it's not to be taken completely literally, that they've got up in arms. I'm just intrigued. I'm intrigued about what BioWare does now with the DLC, whether they planned it all along, whether this was some sort of ruse, whether they are reacting directly to the comments.
Are people actually suggesting that this has been planned from day one?
A few people are, but people suggest anything.
Oh fuck! I mean, that's just that's one step too far into mentalism, as far as I'm concerned. There's no way.
But I think a lot of people are very annoyed about one particular line. It's difficult to talk about it without spoiling anything. One particular line in the pre-release talk from Casey Hudson, the head honcho, and how it pans out. Maybe in a couple of weeks I can be more specific when everybody's finished it. But apart from that, there's nothing to be annoyed about. Fuck me. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's Mass Effect 3. And it's the third game in a series, and they've managed to elevate it once again. I think it's a better game than Mass Effect 2. I'm sold on that now.
I could have done with a few more mini games. I loved unlocking those things and scanning the planets. All that. It was just.
Oh, you did like that, didn't you?
Yeah, this is a lot less gamey. I mean, a Mass Effect 2, every time it could get you to perform some kind of minigame, it would. And I quite like that. But yeah, no, it is overall, of course, the best of the three.
Yeah, I think so.
Have you tried the multiplayer?
No.
Are we going to have a session tonight?
I don't know why. I just don't have any interest in it whatsoever. The combat is by far the least enjoyable part of Mass Effect for me, even in 3, which is the best of the 3. And I just have no interest in doing that online at all.
Okay.
To the point where I think it would even spoil my enjoyment of what I played.
No, really. I mean, I've only played the demo.
Though.
It's really good. I'm looking forward to it, and with a few people, it should be really fun. But yeah, it's a different game. I'm not seeing it as part of the package. I'm seeing it as like an offshoot almost. Yeah.
Maybe one day. It's finding time, though, isn't it?
Yeah, genuine. Okay, my number 5, the lowest placing yet, Battlefield 3.
Do you reckon it'll ever drop out?
Probably not. And I'm hoping that the patch, which I downloaded last night and is sitting on my Xbox now, I'm hoping it's the be-all and end-all. I got a couple of texts from mates last night saying they've really sorted out a few annoying things. But yeah, my first ever rage quit the other night. And that's because, in addition to the unbalancing, which happens constantly, hopefully not anymore, but which sees us with a team full of people who've never played the game against people who apparently have 0 lives outside of Battlefield. Not only that, there's another thing that's been happening a lot recently. If a load of people leave at once, new people don't fill their spots. So we had a team of like 7 and they had a full team. And it was just so frustrating that I just turned off my Xbox and fucking rage. But for about 40 minutes, we had, however many players down, and they had a full squad of absolute demons. And I was just like, I'm out. Done.
Have they released any of the DLC yet? The map packs?
No, first one is June. Can't wait. Close quarters.
But not till June. God, they're really holding out on that, aren't they?
Who gives a shit? It means they're working hard on it, son. Be perfect.
Oh yeah, they smash it. Dice smash it.
Genuine.
I will play it one day again, maybe. I don't know what it is with me in multiplayer shooters. I just get so into them, and then when I stop for a week, I just have no interest in going back to them. It's always the way.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I've lost count of the number of times you finally come on, to whether it's Call of Duty back in the day or Battlefield or whatever, and you get shot once and turn it off.
That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh well. Fuck the haters.
Yeah.
Right, number 4 is a weird game that I was asked to review for Pocket Gamer called Antithesis on the iPhone. It's basically Pong, but like an endless version of Pong with an endless amount of little balls on the screen. It's a really stark black and white effort. It's kind of stylish, I guess you'd call it that. It's just all the work of one bloke, and it's strangely compelling to have that many Pong balls coming at you and trying to manage them. Basically, it's kind of like if Alan Wake was to make his own iPhone game, this would be it. You're a black paddle, you're fighting against the mysterious white paddle who is bringing his own darkness across the screen, and with the darkness come shitloads of Pong balls, and you're basically trying to hold back the tide. It's another endless game, but it's a very different take on it. And it's fucking pretty bare bones. It could do with a multiplayer mode. But it's kind of interesting. It's one of those games that taps into that throwaway 5-minute fun iPhone type of gaming, which I'm not really too keen on. But when you have to play it for a review, you put the time in, and yeah, it's a good effort. I like the idea of just one person making a game on his own and having a style and an approach and ambition and executing it. So yeah, I don't even know if I'd recommend it. It's fun. It's cheap. It's another 69p job. It's worth a glance.
Sounds absolutely horrendous, but is there I'd assume there's a free trial, right?
No, it's not often free. Well, there's sometimes free trials, but for games, I think he just needs there would be nothing to trial. It's such a stark package.
Okay. Okay, right. My number 4, Silent Hill Downpour.
I'm so excited to play this.
It's you have to forgive it a lot,
I haven't got it
yet. It's pretty damn good. I have to say, it's very unusual.
Sorry, you dropped out in that first sentence there, mate. What did you say? It ended with a lot.
You have to forgive it a lot because it's. I know it's something that you hear a lot. Oh God, it looks like a PS2 game, but this is as close as a next-gen game looks to a PS2 game that I've ever seen. It's really, really. The budget is clearly, if not rock bottom, then you can tell they didn't have a lot of money to play with.
Right.
Controls are kind of backwards, but weren't they always?
Yes.
But yeah, I really like this one. It's really, really nasty. It's like there's something really. The opening, especially, is a really nasty opening in a prison, and there's like paedophilia sort of hinted at, and there's a stabbing. It's really like in a good way, nasty and unsettling in a good way. And I've heard a lot of people say that this is not scary. It rattled me quite a bit, and it's good. It's a return to form. I mean, I think that the last few, with the exception of Shattered Memories, I think that's a masterpiece. But not everyone does. I know you don't, do you?
I don't, because of the separation between the exploration and the stuff where you actually have a threat. So I felt that even though the atmosphere was creepy in exploration bits, knowing that there was no threat through the mechanics, I kind of lost the sense of dread and fear. But I'm such a fucking huge fan of 2 and 3, and 1, in fact, which is not mentioned that much anymore. The first 3 games, and 4 to a degree, that it was just never going to match up to that for me. I kind of admire what they did with it, but I've been hearing from people who are as passionate as me about 2 that this is the closest anyone's got to kind of recreating that magic.
Yeah, there is that sort of, and the fact that it kind of looks like an older game sort of adds to sort of the uneasiness. There's something kind of dank and sort of dirty about it.
That's good.
But yeah, I mean, I've only done. But I played it. I intended to play it for a couple of hours. I played it for about 4 or 5, and really gripping, really, really effective. It's not perfect by any means, but yeah, if you're a fan, get hold of it.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to play it. I wasn't too fussed about Homecoming. It felt like someone trying to trace a Silent Hill game and getting the lines a bit wrong.
Yeah.
But it seems like the guys, is it Vatra, the Czech guys that have done this? They seem like they've got their heart and their minds in the right place and doing the best that they can.
No doubt. It's got the most obtuse puzzle in the history of games, though. Ridiculous. I laughed. How anybody...
Did you have to game fax it?
No, but this is normally I would have, but for some reason with this, it kind of locks you into an area so you know the solutions where you are. But once I figured out, I was like, there's no fucking... I reckon the smallest of small percentages of people who played this game figured that out.
Did you just luck upon it?
No, I figured it out, that was rewarding, and I'm so glad I didn't go to YouTube or whatever to try and figure it out. But man, I bet you that's going to go there. Well, it's not a big enough game for it to go down in history, but I just laughed because the amount of people that are going to figure that out, almost zero. Once you play it, I can't wait to hear what happens when you get to that bit, because it's so obtuse, it's not even funny. Although it is funny. Sorry, I laughed.
It is funny. I'm definitely going to play it.
Genuine.
Yeah, I've always wanted that series to come back to its glory, and I know it's never going to happen in the way that I want it to, but at least the kind of, I'm assuming it's not just like, it's not turned into an action game.
No. It's always better to run away.
Yeah, foreboding.
Yes.
Nasty atmosphere, horrible, weird sound effects. That's Silent Hill to me.
Yeah.
Cool. Right, my number 3 is Lumines on the PS Vita, which has done me. It's done me in, mate.
What?
Physically, I played it for. I said I was going to sit down with the headphones on and do the full session. You know, the full Lumines session where you sit there until you die, as you do. But as you know, with Lumines, that takes a serious amount of time. For me, I think it was clocked in about 90 minutes, which is a hell of a lot of time to be holding a PSP. And in that time, I was so into it that I didn't realise that both my arms had basically gone to sleep. And I'm still really suffering almost a week on. I've got like tendonitis or RSI in my shoulders. I can't type properly. I can't play games properly. I can't train properly.
What?
It's almost put me off ever playing it again. And it's not the game's fault, but I don't know what to do, because it was fantastic and I love the choice of music, and Lumines is an amazing block puzzler, one of the best ever, up there with Tetris for me. But the thought of playing it again and making my arms hurt that much ever again, I don't know what to do, because I mean, with the original one on PSP, someone I knew back then did the same thing, and they were actually off work for weeks with how fucked their arms were. It must be something to do with the way that you're claw holding the PSP and you're playing it for so long without a break, something like that. But I'm kind of loath to go back to it. And the game itself is fantastic, like I said, but do I want to put myself through that physically again? I mean, maybe I was just sitting the wrong way. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I'm scared.
Jesus. Okay, that's a real shame, and fuck me, you're weird. But don't sell it or anything. Keep hold of it, because some days I'm just like, I need a game of that. It's good, to have around.
I'll keep it just on the off chance that you want to play my copy of it, despite
no, but I thought
hours away from each other.
I thought we were like brothers in Lumines. Sometimes you just think, I need a bit of that.
I quite like the term brothers in Lumines, so that's actually convinced me to keep hold of it more than anything else you've said.
All right,
so,
genuine. All right, my work is done.
Brothers in Lumines.
Genuine. Okay, my number 3, Devil May Cry HD Collection.
That's my number 2.
Genuine. First of all, Devil May Cry 2 is one of the biggest disappointments I've ever had as playing games. I took off an entire weekend the weekend that came out, and I've never been so disappointed. I fucking hated it. Going back to it here, it's fine. It's mindless, and it's really, really easy, and there's hardly any puzzles in it, but it's okay, but it's not 1 and 3, which still stand up.
Yes, massively. I've only played 3 in the HD version. One I played enough, I think, in my life. 2, I can't be asked to play that again. I can't be asked to fight that fucking helicopter again. Forever. But 3, back in the day, was too hard for me. I got quite far.
This is a different version,
through.
Isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
But the continue system, I don't mind that it's hard. That's fine. But back on the original one, you'd lose to a boss, and then you kick back all the way to the beginning of the level. So you'd have to do the whole fucking level again, only to lose to the boss. And that game, when you fight the bosses, you're supposed to lose quite a few times while you're understanding how their attack patterns and what's going on.
Yeah.
But here they've changed it so when you die and you continue, I think this was like the special edition, like you said, you don't get kicked back that far. So that changes everything for me. That makes me just want to play it. And man, I don't know if it's been bettered in terms of that style of game. I don't know if Bayonetta's better.
I think Bayonetta is better, but it's because it does some of the same things right. I just love how you have to be aware. You have to be so on the ball, because the cues that you're about to get attacked by something it's like visual and oral, audio. Yeah. So you have to really, really be constantly on the ball, and it's hectic as fuck. And also nowadays, when orbs are a currency, you slash someone, the orbs are there. You can run away, and they'll just drift towards you. I love the fact that in these they sort of fade away, so you have to implement rushing to go and get them into the battle, and it's just really, really stressful, but brilliantly so.
Yeah. What style are you playing as?
On 3, I can't remember.
It defaults you as Trickster. They all seem to be open from the start. I'm sure they weren't. I'm sure you had to unlock them or something.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm whatever the default was. I did fiddle around with them for a bit, but I think I picked the default one, yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to work out this Royal Guard thing with the blocking, where you stand there and block and then charge. I don't understand it. I'm going to have to video it.
Yeah, I remember that.
People rave about it. They say, that's the true way to play. People who really know their shit about Devil May Cry 3, but at the moment it's just making me get killed. But I'm now going to batter through. I'm going to do the whole thing. I'm going to resurrect my DMC3 career from years ago, and I will do it. Yeah,
action games don't age that well, and 1 and 3 especially have aged brilliantly. They still hold up. I mean, the HD transfers are not perfect. Sometimes they sort of ping pong between being quite scrappy and then really, really, rather nice. But the games 1 and 3, they really do hold up.
It's weird that they haven't done the menus or the cutscenes. They haven't redone them, but it doesn't matter. But it just makes it feel a little bit cheap and nasty,
a bit lazy. Yeah.
But
I don't know. I'm hoping that this wasn't just me, because I tried every option I could. Have you tried to go from one game to the other?
I don't think you can. Can you? You have to turn
you
it
have to
off,
go.
turn it on.
Yeah. That's just ridiculous.
I think you have to do that on Metal Gear as well, don't you?
I think did you? No. You could go back. I'm pretty sure you could go back. I mean,
yes. Yeah. That's a bit weird, isn't it? It does feel a bit like they just knocked it up on a weekend, but the games are that good.
Yeah, they stand up.
2 of them are.
2's all right. It's just it's fine. It's shit.
It had to be on there.
Yeah.
But there's been plenty of better mindless action games since then.
That's true. No, I mean, yeah, I'm not going to complete to, but it was. It's nice to get a bit of perspective because that used to be one of my most hated games ever. So
just because you built yourself up so much.
It was like ruined my weekend. I was so pissed off. I was just like, I'm going to smash that, and then it was just that sort of. I mean, it's just a half-assed bunch of rubbish.
Yeah. All I can remember is just fighting that helicopter forever.
Yeah, and the environments are just bland and shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I like it more than I did, but that's not saying a great deal.
But they smashed it on 3.
And 1. I think 1 still stands
of course,
up.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Awesome. Well, yeah, that was my number 2.
Fair
so
play.
I guess, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is Max Payne 3.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I went and had a little hands-on with the multiplayer, and luckily, it was at the end of the day, so it was like the last slot. So my hands-on was supposed to last just under an hour, and it ended up lasting almost 3 hours.
Right.
And I could have stayed there until the middle of the night. It's so much fun. They've absolutely smashed the multiplayer, and I can't wait to play it again.
Talk me through it.
Okay, there is so much to mention. I mean, the Gang Wars mode is what we played the most, and that's brilliant. It's like 5 missions that change depending on what happens in the. So, like the first mission, you've got to stop a drug dealer getting from A to B, and you have to destroy a bridge. So, in subsequent missions, the bridge won't be there. So it's okay. Always changes depending on what happened in the previous mission. They're all story based, and then one you have to go steal a load of cash, and then in the final one they weigh off who won how many to how many lives you get in a massive sort of death match at the end with a limited number of lives, and it's awesome. And yeah, I mean, there's just games like this, or any game really. People talk up the things that they've done, but there are so many well implemented ideas in the multiplayer that it's. I mean, where do I start? The way that the weight of your equipment affects the way you play, it's really, really subtle. So if you have loads of heavy equipment like heavy machine guns, grenades, you have all the kit. When you move slightly slower, and when you go over when you sort of go over cover, you're really kind of sluggish, and it's minor, but in a game as fast paced as this, it's like it means the world.
Right.
And it's so well balanced. The little perks that are called bursts are awesome. I mean, you've probably heard of them. Paranoia is one that you can switch it on when you're going into a gunfight, and the opponent's side, all of their enemies on the radar will come up as their friends.
Oh, right.
So you'll run in, and on their radar, it'll look like it's one of their team running towards them, and they can counter that by using another burst, which puts everyone's names above it. And if
Brink did that.
Sorry.
Brink did that.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah, you could sort of hide as a spy and go and.
Oh, that's right.
It was one of the classes.
That's right.
Brink was full of good ideas, but poor execution in the end.
The online. Well, it was a shame about the online. But yeah, and the way you can level up. So if you level up Paranoia, if you get to the 3rd stage, when you activate it, you also.
Who would want to level up Paranoia?
People who.
What a terrible thing to do.
Oh.
In real life.
Nice. No, I know. Yeah, if you level up Paranoia on level 3, not only do you do that on the radar, you activate their friendly fire, so they can start gunning down their own team. All of this stuff, that's just one of many. There's loads of cool little bursts that they've got, and they haven't revealed them all yet, but nothing feels unbalanced. It's just fun. I mean, you have not lived. This is something that I did in a massive skirmish. I dived off a building in bullet time and shot somebody in the face with a bazooka and sent them flying in bullet time. It was just, the bullet time. They've nailed it. I didn't think they could do it as well as they have, but they really have fucking smashed it.
Fuck, that sounds really good. I wasn't even. You know, when people talk about multiplayer modes for established single player games, my brain automatically switches off.
Yeah.
So I wasn't paying. I knew they were doing a lot of press for it,
yeah.
And I knew they were putting a lot of effort into it, and so there was a lot of good ideas going on. But still, until I've heard you talk about it now,
it's going to be. It should be absolutely huge. The campaign's going to be fantastic. I've no doubt about that. But man, the multiplayer. We were there for 3 hours, and it felt like 5 minutes, and I could have stayed there into the bloody night. And everything, there's so much to it. I can't talk about it in enough detail. It's just so good. And there's a really wicked mode called Painkiller, where one of you's Max Payne, one of you's Passos, his mate or his partner or whatever, and you're statted up. You've got the badass weapons. You've got loads of painkillers to re-heal yourself, and everyone else has got fuck all. So they have to strategize, and so did everyone else. And it's just, oh man, it's going to fucking kick ass. I've got no doubt about it.
Awesome.
Yeah, really.
Awesome. Now I'm pumped now.
Yeah, it's great.
Nice. Right. So my number one is The Witcher 2. It is. This is not considered a review. This is, it's still under embargo. So I have played it the most this week, but it's such a fucking massive game. I'm still in first impressions territory, really. I'm still only a few hours in. What I'm really impressed by is the writing. The animation in the cutscenes is a little bit squiffy here and there, but this is a game that's adult, and that's not because there's some tits and a bit of muff in the first scene. It's just, it really, really reminds me of Game of Thrones in that it's bawdy and sweary not in a tacky way, in a funny way, and doesn't give a fuck about trying to be a kind of teenager-friendly video game. It really does seem like it's come from a book, which of course it has. Yeah. And couple that with a combat system that is reminiscent of Dark Souls, Demon Souls, but a little bit friendlier, but fucking hard. And if you get hit, you've really got to make sure you control a crowd of people. It's all swordplay. Yeah. It just made me think of how RPGs are they're kind of coming of age at the moment as like a real mainstream video game option. They've always been the kind of connoisseur's genre of choice for storytelling and complicated gameplay systems, but they've been off-putting to a lot of people because of those complicated gameplay systems, be it sort of unusual turn-based stuff or just clicky combat or like World of Warcraft type stuff. But here you've got Mass Effect, Skyrim to a lesser extent, although that's still a bit hitty. And now this really feels like it's starting to become the smart choice for an adult gamer who wants something a bit more out of their games beyond just mechanics and fun gameplay. I've always video gaming since I was a kid been interested in the medium as a potential to tell stories, and I get let down so often, but I'm always up for it. I'm always up for a way of being told a story, a way of involving myself in a story, and The Witcher 2 is a game that seemingly is going to be able to take me on a completely unique path through a story that is based on my own choices, which is something that you cannot do in other mediums, which is why there's so much potential and why it's so often wasted on shit muscle-bound idiot. I always use that muscle-bound idiot stories, but I like Gears of War. That's always the touchstone for shit game stories, but that's actually quite good. But you know what I mean? Just like fucking Fracture, that's the worst. Jet Brody, fuck you.
I played. It looks fucking great for a 360 game, though, eh?
Yes, it does.
Really good. I played it last year on the PC, and you know what my memory's like, so my memory of it is fucking hazy, but I remember being so impressed by how the moral choices wasn't a choice between good and evil. It was the lesser of two evils almost every time. And it was just the grimness and the grittiness of it really did feel like a genuinely adult proposition, and there aren't many of those. And I think the fact that it's Polish and they just don't give a fuck in the same way, that they're not interested in pandering. They had that audience, and they happen to have now made a game that's good enough that it's going to broaden their own audience rather than they're pandering to an audience. People are okay with tough stuff and interesting stuff. Like I said, Game of Thrones, The Sopranos, people like intelligent things. And this definitely seems like it's going to be one of the few games that manages to do that outside of the indie space, and a big fucking game that's got a brain. No, I can't wait. I should be getting it later this week, and I can't wait. I'm going to get stuck into it again.
I'll get full proper opinions, next week when the embargoes drop. That's just my first thoughts. I might fucking hate it, but
you won't.
I doubt that very much. But I'm really impressed. I'm very excited about the potential for RPGs going forward.
Yeah, genuine. Okay, my number one is Kinect Star Wars on the Xbox 360.
Holy shit!
I'll tell you, I saw this at E3 last year, and although I didn't play it, I watched a parade of people bewilderingly stumble out of the demo pod not knowing what the fuck they'd just seen, and I watched it and you could tell it didn't work. You could tell it looked like shit, and I really don't understand what possessed Microsoft to think that it was fit to be on the show floor. I'll never understand that, but it's fantastic. And I don't understand. When I woke up the other day when the embargo dropped, and I genuinely expected fantastic reviews across the board, and I don't understand why. Well, I've got some, ideas why, but I don't understand why everyone's been so fucking down on it. And some of the reviews I've read really highlight what pisses me off about Kinect games. About the attitude towards Kinect games, because so many people who reviewed it used it as an opportunity to rediscover the problems with Kinect. Kinect is it's a problematic device, and we all know what the problems are. It's been out for long enough, but to discern whether a game's good enough, it's how well it works itself around those problems and circumvents those issues. And Kinect Star Wars does it better than any Kinect game that's ever been out, with with the exception of Child of Eden, but it's a different thing.
Yes.
I can tell you right off, I don't like Star Wars, and I don't like Kinect, and I don't have kids. But if you have kids and you have Kinect in your home, and they like Star Wars, I couldn't think of I'll go out on a limb and say the kids will fucking love it, because that's the worst part of all this, and I feel like a tit having to make this point again. And Star Wars is for kids. It always fucking has been, and I find it so creepy the way that so many adults treat this like it's not for kids. I find it makes me really genuinely uneasy, and the reaction to those Han Solo dancing videos, those are just funny. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I have.
It's just funny.
I feel the same way about Star Wars as you.
Yeah, but I mean, fucking Han Solo in the Stormtroopers bopping away, and that guy from Empire Strikes Back with a bald head bopping away in the DJ podium. It's just funny, and I don't understand when Star Wars fans have got to a point where their enthusiasm has got so extreme that they've stopped being able to have a sense of humour about it. And I find it makes me so uneasy, because they treat it like a religion, and it's just fucked. Show me a Star Trek fan, and I'll show you somebody who is willing to bend over backwards to take the piss out of not only themselves, but Star Trek. Star Wars fans, honestly, the reaction to it. And another depressing thing, go to any review of Star Wars Kinect on the internet and look at the user comments underneath. It's people who are writing their own reviews, having not played it, having barely seen any of it, just slating it. Fuck it, it's fantastic, and it works. It just genuinely works.
Well, the thing with Star Wars fans, I do worry that people sort of forget that there is a generation of people younger than them. I think that happens with. I used to be a much bigger wrestling fan than I am now. Same thing, that people seem to think that once they hit 28, 30 years old, that wrestling should still be catering for them. It's like, no, wrestling's for kids. It's fine if you want to still like it and you can get what you get out of it. Same with Star Wars, of course. Anything. I mean, we're talking about fucking computer games after all.
Yeah.
But you have to remember that these things, they're aimed at kids. You get into them when you're 10 years old, and there's another generation. There's another 2 generations of kids that young now.
Yeah, and that's
and they're allowed to have stuff aimed at them, and that's fine.
The thing that, I mean, I can't take issue with this too much, because a lot of critics have said it didn't work for me, and I'll tell you this: it worked brilliantly for me, and you can back me up on this. I've bought shoes that have come in boxes that are bigger than my flat. And
that's actually true. So you have really big feet and a really small flat.
It worked. A couple of minor technical hitches. It just worked. It just works. Everything that I wanted to do. I mean, the only issue when you use the Force and you're meant to grab an enemy in the distance and fling him out of the way, that if there was more than one enemy on the screen, Kinect struggles. But then Kinect will struggle because that's the hardware. But I don't know. I was going to say the famous. Have you seen the famous scene or the famous bit? But have you seen Simon Pegg talking about when he saw The Matrix for the first time?
I don't know. Don't think so.
He just says inside. I was like, and he does this maniacal laugh because he's like just a massive geek out. That happened to me a couple of times when I was playing this game, and not because of anything to do with Star Wars, just because it fucking worked. There was one bit on the campaign is basically a greatest hits. So you're going on the speed bikes through Endor, you do the pod race, all that. There's a bit which is meant to be the beginning of Return of the Jedi where you're on those floating ships in the desert, and they're trying to get you to walk the plank to jump into that spiky burping sphincter in the sand. And it turned into a fight. It all kicked off. I was having a fight with this guy. I swiped the shit out of him. He blocked all my moves. I saw him charging his retaliation. I sidestepped. He swung, missed me, and then I fucking kicked him, and he flew off the side of the... I was just like,
You sidestepped in the real world?
Sorry?
You sidestepped in real life?
Yeah, that's how you do it. You control. You sidestep
That's
out
brilliant.
of the way. Sent him flying off the side, and I was just like, man. I was like, fuck, because it just works. If I was a kid, I'd be doing backflips for this fucking game. I swear to God. And the reaction is just depressing. It's just depressing. I can't argue too much, because if they say it didn't work and it didn't work for them, hey.
Yeah,
but
of course.
It's fucking great for what it is. It's great. What can I say?
Well, yeah. I mean, I do have a kid, but he's far too young to play Kinect or anything else for that matter. But I'm sure my nephew would love it. He's got Kinect. He loves Star Wars. I'm sure he'll get it. So I'll be interested to see what he thinks, because he's 11 and I'm sure he wants to jump around slashing people up with lightsabers. Little technical hiccup here and there, or people dancing isn't going to bother him, because he's not. Well, he's fucking 11.
Yeah. Well, let me know what he thinks, because I've gone out on a limb repeatedly with friends and said your kids will love it. And I hope I haven't lied to people.
Well, you are the only positive voice in the sea of dissent, but I don't really take what anyone says about Star Wars seriously ever.
No, and I don't. It seems like people just wanted to hate it. I wanted to hate it. I saw it at E3, thought it was a joke. I don't like Star Wars. I don't like Kinect. I wanted to hate it, and against all odds, it impressed the fucking shit out of me. It's just excellent fun. That's it.
Right. Well, that is it. I don't think we've made 20 games in 40 minutes this time.
Yes,
but,
again.
We try. So thank you very much for listening, as always. Remember to check out the website, which starting Monday, guaranteed, is going to have editorial on every single week. Opinion pieces that I'm going to try and do something a little bit different to what else is out there, kind of in keeping with what we do on the podcast. So check that out, thefiniteplaylist.com. You've got our Twitters, at John Denton, at Chet Roivas. And don't forget to subscribe on iTunes if you haven't already. Thank you very much for listening. We out.
Goodbye. Bye, Star Wars Kinect.
Fuck a hater, fuck a hater.